welcome to day 26 of 30 Days of Pleasure. Sorry. Today's exercise is titled Repeat What Felt Best. Return to a meditation that felt powerful, and we're going to deepen into it. And honestly, even though I very much enjoyed erotic movement, which was to let my dance naked to a sensual playlist. I really enjoyed that one. To be honest, my absolute favorite one was day 16. And day 16 was fantasy unfolding. Close your eyes and imagine a scene that turns you on. Let it evolve freely, no editing. Identify fantasies that turn you on. Write or speak them aloud. So, on day 16, when I originally did the audio, I did the audio where I met somebody in the audio. And I didn't know that my fantasy was safety. I did not know. I remember it was a very emotional episode for me because I originally started with, it was the best day of my life. And I started crying because I couldn't imagine what it would be like to be telling you about the best day of my life. And so I went with what I did know, and what I did know was that I was going to have a facial that Monday. And that's how it started. And the storyteller in me wants to continue that story. And the storyteller in me wants to continue the story. So I'm going to continue the story because I can. It's my story. It's my audio. I can do whatever I want to. And I don't know. I did not. All I know is that this audio, part 2, is 30 days after the first audio, which is appropriate, right? It's 30 days of pleasure. And that's what I know. And day 16, yes. So I'm going to tell you now what day 27 is, because if I don't want to look later, which I probably won't, day 27 is full body gratitude scan, where we thank each body part, especially those you struggle to love. So that takes away the, what's the word I'm looking for? The pressure for me to get out of the meditation and look at the laptop and tell you what it is that I need to tell you about day 27. And so I'm just going to tell you about day 26. And I didn't record yesterday, which I normally do, like one after the other, but I needed a break. I don't know if that matters to you, but I just wanted to tell you that I was just, and today I was like thinking about all day about day 26 and what I wanted to tell you. So let's breathe first and calm and get into the storyteller mode. I need to get all cozy in my blankie because I think I like story time. And I enjoy the story, and I get to craft my fantasy, and we'll see what happens. I'm not gonna lie, it's probably gonna be very vanilla. It's okay. But it'll be like a Tahitian vanilla, Madagascar vanilla bean custard. So it will be vanilla, but it'll be like a rich, nuanced vanilla. I hope. I can't really say because I don't know. And I don't know if the story is going to be 10 minutes. Probably not 10 minutes. Nothing I do is 10 minutes. 20 minutes, an hour. The story takes as long as it takes. That's all I can say. So I'll make sure to put the timestamps. So you, not the timestamps, but if you want to get involved and come into the story, you'll know that this whole audio is blah, blah, blah. And I may put a timestamp of when the story starts, but let's just breathe for a little bit. All right, so it is 7:23 on the timestamp. It had been 30 days since I met Powers. And it had been the most magical 30 days. It was so fun. And I had never felt safer in my life. And adored. And I never had so much fun. I didn't know that it could be this fun. That life could be this fun. As it turned out, getting a house with a garage apartment and a pool was a little bit harder to find than you would imagine. So I had found him. I had scoped out apartments beforehand, thinking about where I wanted to live. So when the time came and I met him and he was looking, I was able to convince Powers to get an apartment in this building. It was an apartment. It was a townhouse. It's a beautiful townhouse. Spacious. It felt like a home. It actually didn't feel like a townhouse. And we spent a lot of time together. Yeah, he went to work, and when he was at work, I would be working and doing what I needed to do for school and work. We spent so much time together that he asked me to move in after a week. I wasn't very happy where I was, so... And I had been looking for a place, so it actually worked out. It worked out, and I was fine with... I had my own bedroom if I wanted to. But it was just so nice. And we got to decorate. And put the house together exactly the way I wanted. It was funny, but we often gravitated towards the same stores. Same couch, same furniture. When we didn't agree, it was easy. It wasn't hard. It was just talking. It was like almost... yes. Powers was attractive and made me feel safe. But more importantly, he communicated his needs clearly, succinctly, without ever hurting my feelings and making me feel slighted. As if my opinion was just as important as his. He was his own person. I actually enjoyed that. He brought a different perspective to my life. He was active in our relationship. He let me know where I stood from day one. And when he asked me to move in a week later, I didn't hesitate. It was just, okay. It was easy to say yes. And our relationship just kind of flowed. It was weird. It was nice because I got to wake up. And when I woke up, I knew where I stood with this person. Well, said unironically as I lay in the bed, but I knew exactly where I stood in importance and respect levels. Even when we went out, where he placed his hands was respectful and yet possessive, as if to let the world know she belongs to me. He didn't expect me to be submissive. He said the best thing about me was my independence, and he loved my sense of humor. He really liked when I made him cookies. And we always had cookies in the freezer, ready for us whenever we wanted one. And he loved to talk about his day. He loved to tell me about his day. And it wasn't ever, my day was more important than yours. It was telling me how his day went and just, you know what the best part was? He never wanted to be apart from me. So he would come home. he'll come home and put his head in my lap and tell me about his day. And I tell him about my day. And we cook or make food or anything. But it was all so easy. I found a nice rhythm. Rhythm of love, and happiness, and joy, and kindness, and grace, and empathy, and compassion, and laughter. We love to laugh. It's probably one of our favorite things. Our most favorite thing, actually. One day he came home and he said, I have a surprise for you. We're going on a trip. He didn't tell me where we were going. He just said we were going on a trip. I said, okay. So I packed my laptop and my toiletries and had basics, but he wouldn't tell me where we were going. And I said, are you going to tell me? He said, don't worry about it. When we get there, we'll get there, and if you need clothes, we'll just buy some. It's not a big deal. Well, I wasn't going to say no to that. So I went and packed. I got to the airport. Didn't tell me where. He actually had me wear a blindfold. Okay. And finally, he took me to the gate. We were going to London. I said, how did you know? I always wanted to go. He said, don't worry. Little birdie told me. I laughed. I said, okay. We walked in. We got comfy. And we took off. Did you know that this man, I never told anybody, but sometimes I fly a lot and I get anxious. And without knowing, he reached out and he took my hand and he held it in his because he just wanted me to know that he was there and that he was there to make me feel safe and to let me know where I was. We got to London. It was a little cold. So we stopped at the department store first so I could get a coat and some clothes. And some shoes, of course. A bag and a dress and a suitcase because I need to take it all back home. And he said, make sure to get an extra special dress. I said, okay. I got an extra special dress and heels. Later that night, we were getting ready to go to sleep. And I thanked them for the day and said, I really didn't expect this day. I thought we were just going to stay in this weekend and not do anything because we didn't have anything on the schedule. He said, I know. I planned it that way because I knew. I knew we were going to be here. I said, how did you know? We've been here. I've only known you for 30 days. He said, I know. But it's been 30 days of absolute pleasure. And I couldn't let another day pass without telling you how much I love you and how grateful I am for you. You accepted my offer to help me find a place to live. And that you accepted my offer to move in with me after a week. And how much ease and fun and laughter you've brought into my life. And how every day I wake up, I look forward to waking up. Because before I met you, I was in a dark place. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do. Actually, accepting this job was a last-ditch effort. Because I had to do something to shake up my life. And so I did it. And I told the universe to send me a sign that I did the right thing. And to make it very obvious. And the hotel that we met at is the only hotel available. And running into you, literally. And when you got up from the ground and I saw the most beautiful angel. Trying to keep it cool. I could see you were flustered. And I didn't know what to do. Because I didn't want you to leave. I didn't want you to ever leave. And I couldn't let you just slip away. So I said the craziest thing that came to mind. Which was true. And I offered you employment. For a week. Because I thought maybe that would give me enough time for you to see that I was a good man. Because I knew from the moment I set eyes on you that I wanted to do this. You wanted to do what? I wanted to ask you to marry me. What? 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 That I wanted to ask you to marry me. Ayla. Grace. Esther. Now, will you marry me? And bring me laughter. Continue to bring me laughter and joy and happiness and cookies and peace. And talk me down off the ledge and share with me the gift of life that is you. You are my gift from the universe. You make me feel like I can do anything. Even fly you to London. Just so. Just for the weekend. Just because I knew you wanted to come to London. And I wanted to be the first person to do that for you. I wanted to be the person you went to London with the first time. I wanted to be your first. That's something. But I want to be your last as well. The last person you fall asleep next to. The last person you love. The last person you hug. The last person you kiss. The last person you make laugh. The last person you make smile. We're going to do a lot of firsts together. But we're also going to be each other's lasts. And so, I'm asking you again. Ayla Grace Esther Now, will you marry me? I was in absolute shock. I couldn't believe it. That this man, who sometimes I felt like I conjured him up out of thin air, came out of nowhere and fulfilled all of my fantasies at once. Safety, security, fantasy. Someone who wanted to build a fireplace with me, but I could also have fireworks with. Someone who let me know that I added to his life. I brought to his life. I didn't make him whole. I didn't make him complete. We were whole already. And this man knew how much I hated packing clothes to go on a trip. He made it so I didn't have to do that. But he also let me know that no matter where we were and what was going on, that he would be there. He wouldn't leave me. And he would be there whenever I had things to unpack. Because he knew we all have baggage. And it's not about the baggage. It's about who sits around to help you unpack. And he made it clear who I was, where I was, how he planned to fit me into his life and his relationship. And now he wanted me to be his wife. Isn't it funny how the world works? From getting a facial to 30 days later, engaged to the man who was made for me. Because you bet I said yes. Yes, 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 and more yes. I jumped up and down like a little girl, screaming. I was so happy. I hugged him and knocked him over. Because I was so happy. And then we went and jumped on the bed together. It was the best day. And you know what? It was the best day of my life. And I knew that this best day of my life wasn't going to be followed up by the worst day of my life. Because those worst days of my life were over. Sure, there'd be okay days and bad days from time to time. But the worst days of my life were over. And I knew that with this man by my side, I could do anything, be anything, be anybody. I could not do anything, and he would still love me as I was, as is. He didn't see any defects in me. He thought I was perfect. I used to joke and say, "You mean practically perfect?" And he goes, "No, perfect. Everything about you is perfect." From the way your hair sits, to the way your toes curl and bend and don't bend. How your feet are different sizes. And your left leg is a little longer than your right leg. He loved my medium neck. My legs that were in between chicken and turkey. My soft skin. Even the things that I didn't love about me, he loved. And when I told him about my family, he said not to worry. Not to worry. That he would never make me feel like I was alone. That he would always be with me. To stand by me. Support me. Encourage me and love me. And to make my birthday a big deal every year. And to celebrate it every month. I always thought my engagement would be a big to-do. But it was perfect. It was just the two of us. There wasn't a big show. It was just us. After I accepted the ring and we talked later, I said, "I love this. Thank you. But why did you have me get a dress if you knew you were going to propose like this?" He goes, oh, that's for the party tomorrow. I said, what party? He said, all our friends are here. I flew them in. We're going to have a party tomorrow to celebrate our engagement. What? Yeah. I flew your friends in so you could celebrate with them tomorrow. That's why I had you get that dress. You have a party. You're throwing a party to celebrate our engagement. And you flew our friends in. What if I'd said no? He laughed and said, I knew you weren't going to say no. Because I know that you feel just as complete as I do. And I'm so grateful for you. Thank you, Ayla. Thank you for coming into my life. And reminding me that I'll never be alone again. The end. You know, I never really thought about that my engagement would be a quiet moment between me and another person. Wouldn't be out in public, that it would be at home after the day was done and we're going to sleep. And that when I was at my, not my most beautiful, but my most normal, that someone would say, hey, I love you as you are. You and I know about the ring, don't you? It was a surprise. It was something totally unexpected. I never in a million years dreamed that he would give me that ring. But he did. He knew. He knew somehow the perfect ring. And celebrating my uniqueness, I as an artist, a visionary, and the creative that I am. And that someone would think to have a party and invite our friends and fly them in international. Another detail I didn't expect. It's a fantasy, right? Why not? Because you want your friends to be there to celebrate with you. You know, I'm like really calm after telling that story. The story time was unexpected, slow, and some people might not like it, but that's okay. It was my story, and it was what I needed. A lot of people say we want to say it was the best day of my life, but sometimes that's hard to relate to. So I said, and even though the story is the best day of my life, I didn't know it was going to be. I just thought it was going to be another ordinary day. So it just goes to show you that you got to keep having hope, because you never know what's coming for you. You just got to keep the faith, because it's all about the climb. The Miley Cyrus song came into my head. So I just wanted to share that with you. And I really hope that you enjoyed day 26 of 30 Days of Pleasure. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 27.